All right, let's go ahead and get to it. Let's go. All right, hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday evening. And I have some explaining to do. Uh, I I sealed the model prior to hitting the stream on button tonight, so that means is the actual painting part is basically done. But I'll show you what I'm working on at least, and we're gonna do we'll actually work on some basing. Okay, so not all is lost. Don't worry, we have stuff to do. But as far as painting the miniature tonight, let me well, first off, let me explain what this project is. So this is Raging Heroes High Elves of the Eternal Summit. Um, yes, I said High Elves. You might be thinking Warhammer Fantasy, but no, no, no. This is Raging Heroes. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Right, Raging Heroes. See, not Warhammer, not that other game, not Age of Sigmar. No, they just they just look very similar, like they feel very similar to, let's say, Lumineth Realm Lords. They might be similar to that. Here's the box art. Now, I should point out, this is actually the renders. This is the 3D renders of the miniatures, and then they sort of color those in, and it looks cool like this. They look like they're made of porcelain, but that's like your typical high elf color scheme, and I love that scheme. One of my favorite schemes is when I had my high elf army. That's a scheme that I would have gone with. I've done something different this time, and I'm gonna show you what the basic uh, color scheme is using this guy here. So there's that. There's a Thunder Chicken banner. It's a very bright scheme. Very. Yeah, what I wanted that orange to really pop. Look at that. There's the leader. I wanted that orange to pop, and I just think that the different softer blues and the blue greens really, really made these things look freaking cool, right? So these are what do they call these? They call these we're gonna use their words, okay? Altheann sword wielders. Altheann sword wielders, not any masters of the sword, nor lords of the blade. But these are our Altheann sword wielders. And man, they got some big hair. Look at that hair. Some big hair. I love the back banners. I hated building the back banners. Sticking them on these little resin things, hoping they don't slide off. It's like trying to glue paper. But they're so cool. You can see, yeah, did I not paint the gems there? No, I didn't. Yeah. I mean, these are troops. I should go in and paint every single little gem on these things. But, we're going for effect. And we have a pretty cool effect going on these. I do think they're pretty sweet though, not gonna lie. Pretty sweet. I missed my old High Elf army back in the days of when I played like 6th edition fantasy, I think. I don't remember. But I had a dope high elf army. And while I never really took to fantasy, it never really, like, at the time I was, 40k Blood Bowl was really my jam. But I loved painting these. I love painting high elves. Always enjoy painting high elves. I hate painting as many as you need to make an army. I don't like that. As cool as they look, this is still like, that's so dope, man. That's so dope. All right, and then so I've been painting this entire army, okay, and I didn't have bases. I didn't have bases, and I needed bases, so I ordered bases. Bases just got here, so maybe that's what we're gonna work on tonight. Because tonight, let's see if I can find this for you. We were supposed to. See, it's still stuck. I pop that up. We were supposed to be working on one of my leader sculpts. See, Altheann, Ethereal Seer, right? She's kind of got like some clearish stuff on, and not much else. She ain't wearing much else. That's the box art, we'll call it. That'll be the studio art. And so here's mine. And I just hit her with a little bit of sealant. I really should go in and paint a little shadow under the eyes. I think we should do that. I know she has sealer drying. She has satin varnish drying on her right now, but I want to get that. I want to get that, okay? And we got to be super delicate with these clears, right? Because I know you guys are going to ask me, what did I do with the clear, right? How did I get the sheer effect there, right? I used a couple things. Well, one, I just painted the skin normally, like you normally do. Like my formula for this is beige red, because I start a little higher. Sometimes you start hull red, but with elves and really fair skin, beige red, then you go to basic skin tone, so you blend these to get to that, and then the last one is luminous skin tone, which is super light, right? That's just the final highlight. But for the actual, for this part where, because her whole face is shrouded, she's got a veil on her whole face, and for that, I took this Crusader skin and I cut it like 1:3 with the speed paint medium, and just very, very gently started to put that in and build it up, right? You build it closest towards the skin tone where it's very close to the face, and then as you go away, I used a different for the cloth, I used a different kind of paint. You can use any sort of clear medium to do this. I used this acrylic crystal light blue, which is super cool. This is usually like what I would use for windshields and that kind of stuff. But this stuff is very cool, as you can see. It's just a super light wash, and you can see here where I've blended. There's the speed paint skin tone there, and then it blends out to that blue. I love this. I did not think I was gonna love this miniature as much as I do. I love this this miniature is off the charts cool. It is so cool. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to paint just a hint of an eye, and I want to find the right color to do this. Right, I could go black, I could go light green. That's really interesting. Hey, what's up, Jason? I could go light green, but I don't know that that's quite what I want. But I do want to go some style of wash or speed paint or effect paint. And so, let's see. If I cut orc skin, that might be okay. What I'm thinking, I kind of want this weird, for her eye, I kind of want this weird bright. What's that from? This is from Raging Heroes. So this is, these are high elves of the Eternal Summit. Yeah, so I could do, I could do Ethermatic Blue. That would be pretty wild. But what I really like, I'm just gonna hit it with a really, really thin version of this Warp Lightning. Because I want the green to be like, I want her to have these bright green eyes that are just kind of shooting, almost shooting from the, like through this clear veil. I'll show you the rest of my high elves in a second here, Jason, because that's what we're working on tonight. We're working on high elves. And I didn't have bases, so we're going to be working with bases. Okay, so I want a little bit of this. I'm gonna put that on my palette actually. I'm gonna mix a little bit of water into it. Oh, do you want it? We could talk offline if you want that. If you want this set. Okay, so this is gonna take a very precise thing here. Oh yeah, I want that to just. Oh, that's so good. I wanted to just. Ooh. Dude. Dude. That's perfect. That's perfect. Oh my gosh. I know you probably can't pick that up on camera, but she's got that green piercing through the veil. Oh my gosh. This, okay, this might be, I didn't think she would be my favorite miniature in this set. It's gonna take a lot to dethrone her. I think she's pretty cool. Let's get, let's do a little bit of highlights in the hair. You can see, I went with she just struck me as someone having red hair because she's got she messes with emotions. That's her whole deal, and she reminded me of if you remember 300, if you remember the like those, I forget what they call them, the little oracle character, those oracle ladies that just wear like very sheer clothing, and they can they're used to predict the future and that sort of thing. She kind of reminds me of those, and everybody else in my army are blondes, but I want the leaders to kind of have different. The leaders may have different hairstyles or hair colors, I should say. All right. So we're going to take a little bit of luminous orange. Take a little bit of luminous orange here. They kind of call out a little bit of highlight. Right. But yeah, I'd been painting this kind of stuff all week, and it was a bit mind-numbing. right? And I questioned all the way through, is this gonna be worth it? Is it gonna be worth it? If what if I don't like this game? You know, there seems to be some kind of frustrating points as far as entry is concerned and losing money all the time. Uh, but I figure, let's say I don't like it. Let's say we play it and we try it out and I hate this game. Well, I have a very cool looking army. How about that? We just Let's just take that as the win. I have a very cool looking army. Don't need much more encouragement beyond that. Yeah, these blade sword wielders, they are so cool. Look at this. Look at the double thunder chicken banner. I stole Jake's idea for the like blue blades. Very cool. All right. Need a little. But yeah, I mean, I painting this was a little on the excruciating side, painting all this stuff, but I think I'm at least going to be happy with how my army looks at the end of all this, right? So I can at least be excited about that. Could use them as alts. It's true. I mean, the other thing too, right? I mean, these we could use them. I could even use them in Wrath of Kings. Right? They could be the. These guys could be uh, the Chinamen, the wall of Chinamen, and then I have the spear guys, who can be the um, who can be the the I forget what they're called, the rank 2 guys with the halberds. So I could do that, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point. I have the basis of a very cool looking army that leaves it that basically mandates that I can only play this for casual and private games because I cannot use these in a public tournament unless it's like I get express consent from the TO. All right. Um, so yeah, here's what we're gonna do for a hot minute. I have never worked with these before, but I got these bases from Cobalt Keep, right? And it's pretty cool. So you get these 32 millimeter bases, and they have this perfect little slot there. I did not think Cobalt Keep magnets were as big as these. But yeah, these are big. Look at this magnet. This is a big old magnet, dude. But yeah, this Cobalt Keep, and it just pops right in there. I think you're supposed to glue these in, because I think I can pop this out. Okay. Yeah, see, because I could just pull it right out. So, uh, so let's put a little glue in some of these. I want to make some bases for the models that are on my desk right now, but I'm gonna have to go back, and I can show you if you want to see some of like how the other models look. I can show you those too. But let's go ahead and start popping in. I guess I should make these all the same polarity, so I should make sure, right? Yep. Whoa. No. So it's so strong that it pulled it out while the glue was still drying. Oh. Oh, that's bad. Hold on. Uh-oh. Issues. Got issues. Oh no. Oh. They probably shouldn't have done that while the glue was drying. Okay. New plan. Because that is just not gonna split, is it? Unless I go here with some pliers and try to pull them apart. Hey, what's up, Isaac? Welcome to the feed. You caught me right in the middle of a magnet debacle. See if I can pop the other one out. Just use 2 pairs of pliers, I guess. I have vice grips right there if I need to. I'm just trying to save these 2 magnets. Well, it could be too late. Yeah, could be too late. Glued magnets. Those 2 are now man and wife. They're just gonna live that way forever. And I'm gonna be too short. Actually, it's not true. I won't be too short. I just have to use other magnets on some. Anyways, so we'll go like that. That'll be the polarity, right? And I will not check polarity anymore. It's just gonna be like that. All right. Yeah, I could just soak them in alcohol. That is true. Ooh. And to make matters worse, that one didn't quite glue flush because the glue dried while I was fixing all that other stuff. You'd split them with a knife. I would probably cut my finger off if I tried to do that. So, alright. Anyways, let's go through. And I could do the trick again. That's that way. Okay. Alright. So, that's the way I want to do it. Alright, so let's make 11 of these. You lost my mind. Hey, what's up, Andrew? But it's not Eldars. 3, right? 5, 6. And let's do 4 more. I'm also not used to doing my basing separately, but like I said, with a bunch of these that were printed, they actually they do have printed bases, but they're terrible. If you want my honest opinion, they look bad. So we are not doing that. We're gonna do. Oh. We're gonna just do these like so. All right. Everybody thought, yeah, I've been getting some weird looks lately at CQ because I'm in them aisles that I usually don't look in. And they're like, "What are you doing in here?" Like, research. All right. I was on that wavelength from Tau version. Okay. So let's put these in. then we're gonna, then we're just, I've really been kind of going back and forth on what kind of basing I wanted to do. Um, and talking with a few people, the consensus I got back is it should be, based on the colors I'm using, it should be some sort of winter theme. I'm like, okay, cool. We could do that. But I want it to be interesting, right? Because these aren't, obviously, they're, there's a lot of sort of interdimensionality to this, right? If I may speak plainly, these aren't your father's high elves, or mine in this case. Or they don't necessarily represent that. They could represent, another very similar faction that kind of spends its time around, like, say, ether quartz, that kind of stuff. Kill Team is kind of sweet. I say we invent a game system around this. I know. Jason, you should get the Asian set. Looks so good. That set looks so good. And then whatever resin Bing is using, I call it Crystal Bing. That stuff is amazing. All right. Okay, look, we did it. We could glue magnets exactly where they're supposed to be. Look at that skill. Look at that. Uh-oh, that one didn't want to. Okay. But they're so tight that they actually squeeze the glue out. That's cool. All right. So we got that. Now we're going to pull all these. Oh, don't worry, all the minis are sealed, but we could have a look at them again. They're all sealed. So let's pull them off. They're not like 100% painted, but they're pretty much there, right? Like, there's still little details and whatever to go back and do, but they're pretty much there. So now, she is my favorite. She's my favorite. And I have her on a little bit of resin there before she goes on her base. And we just keep going, right? Asian sets in my car. It's so cool. But man, painting for these style games is not something I terribly missed. Does it look cool? Yes. Is it soul torturing to do this? Yes. My remark was, I could batch paint Legion all day, every day, and it wouldn't faze me. And you guys know there was a point at which I was doing that, right? I think I must have plowed through. There was one point where I plowed through probably 70 Legion minis in a week, right? Yeah, it was like a good 70 Legion minis. Granted, Legion minis are a far cry from the amount of detail that you see on here. But I make the argument, is that a good thing? Like, we always, again, gamers, we always assume more is better. But is it? For practical painting purposes, for getting it on the board and making it look decent, for the average painter's skill, do you need to have the little chain and the little gem? Like, does that really do anything compared to how cool the focus is on the armor and the Thunder Chicken banner? I don't think so. So, is it really, honestly, is it really that cool to have dumb belts and gems and jewelry everywhere? Not really. Okay? You could tone down your detailing a little bit and still have an amazing looking miniature. And the best part about that is it's more likely to get painted than a miniature that just looks like, you know, it somebody threw an entire Antiques Roadshow at a miniature, right? You're more likely to paint your army, finish it, and it will still look decent, right? Rather than like trying to go for Golden Demon on every single trooper. Playing around with different resins, settle. F me when I have to paint the same guy more than just paint 3 colors. Armor whip. Yeah. I mean, you can see I have essentially 3 colors here. And even that, like the 3 colors are still, there's still a little more work in here than I would give to, say, Legion minis. All right. So do that. Let's get all these ready. So I'm just gonna. Never really done this kind of thing like this, where, you know, that's the other thing. I don't want the sticky tack to be who effing cares. Well, yes and no, right? I mean, we're paying top dollar for these, for the higher end miniatures that are finely detailed, blah blah blah. You want it to look cool. I mean, it's one of your main reasons, at least for me, it's one of the main appeal to the, we'll call them the big games, right? Is everyone swears up and down, it's the best sculpts you've ever seen. And you know, I may have explained in a couple streams why I don't think that's the case. But from a really no, my actual answer is yes they are, but no they're not. Right? Yes they are if you're talking in the total theoretical sense. It's kind of like those guys that like it's kind of like those guys that are into cars, but they're only into like Formula One cars. They're only into experimental cars. They're not into any car that, you know, 99.99% of the population is going to have access to, and they're like, oh my god, that new Formula One, right? That's what it's like. Is it the fastest, bestest race car ever? Yes. Is it a race car like the average guy could really be into? No, because they're not. The chances are they're not even gonna sit in one of those. So I guess what I'm saying is, right? We love these types of sculpts because we see the artwork, we see them in the codexes and the battle tomes and all that stuff, and how they're gloriously, perfectly painted by a professional team, and how cool those look. But I mean, really? Most of the guys you're going to run into, if they do have a fully painted army, it's taken them quite a bit of time to do. Possibly years to finish it. And the other people, right? Like in my case, I just started painting a week ago. Right? And I'm like, oh, I better catch up because I want to have something to put on the board. And so you go through this excruciating process of getting all this stuff ready. And you're like, in my case, I'm wondering the whole time, I'm like, is this really worth it? I remember doing this back in the day and thinking, what a sham, like what a crock, right? Compared to the game that you play. I'm like, dude, I could have painted like 7 Batman miniatures and had a completely different playstyle, and they would all be characters, and that would have been so cool, right? I would have had time to paint 7 Batman miniatures, play 7 Batman miniatures, revise and add more Batman miniatures in this time. Right here, I just made it to 1,000 points. That's it. I only made it to 1,000 points painted. And that was something like 53, 54 models. 54, like, finely detailed models. Right? Is the juice worth the squeeze? And I know You don't have to paint your miniatures, but really, Word, this is me. Like, why would I even bother? If I'm just gonna throw gray sculpts at each other, I'm just like, let's just play the video game, dude. That's just me. It's just me. Like, I, I don't know. It's got, for me, it's got to have that. I gotta, it's got to have the aesthetic to it. Like, I couldn't go like, oh, I'm just built this unit, let's play it, and it's great. That would just bug the shit out of me. You know, hey, that's what this channel's called. If you don't like, yeah, that's sorry. Like that's just how I roll. And so my experience with the game and my opinion of the game is shaped by that. And how I get it that this came from, this is much closer. It was derived from the old school historical guys, right? That would play, thousands of points of miniatures in their garage. It would be an all-day game. They would play on these gigantic tables. But painting the miniatures, it would take, a year to get ready for one battle. But that was like the patience of that hobby, which has since modernized, right? Many fold. It has modernized. And at least if you're me, who I have regular access to gaming and weekly gaming, like this experience ain't gonna cut it. If you're that guy that plays like a game a month, then this hobby time probably all right. You're probably, because you're gonna spend all that time theory crafting list and all this stuff, and you're gonna do all this other stuff. But for me, I'm like, nah, I'm ready for the next game. I'm like, what are we? We're playing Mythic Americas. What are we playing, right? So I'm just saying it's a different experience. I have a different experience. I have different needs. I have a different pace at which I do the hobby and the gaming side of this. I have much more frequent access than many, we'll just say, right? Okay. Dude, so I'm just gonna slop this stuff down? I guess. Just do it like super thin. And I hate non-lipped bases because it just looks weird. You don't get that super nice clean edge. You okay, kiddo? Alright. Don't worry about it. Alright. Old historical games use a much smaller scale. Yeah, and they weren't as detailed. But that said, I mean, those guys would spend years, like, researching their army, like, what the colors were, researching the histories. Then they would go through and painstakingly paint. Let's give them some credit. They'd paint a lot of detail in. They'd build that terrain from scratch a lot of times, right? It was, the original wargaming hobby was pretty intense by today's standards for sure. So, right, they did a lot. But these days it's like, we're gonna get in a game like Thursday. You have anything ready for Thursday? And also, though, I also think that a lot of people that play the big war games, right? They have adjusted to like, okay, well, I'm gonna play this unit a few times unpainted, and then I'll paint it, right? I'll gradually get to it. I couldn't do that. It just disconnects me from the game. Nice. Paint up a Hydra and a Dwarf. Sweet. I don't want to knock people who do that, because I understand most people do that. Most people don't have or don't commit the amount of time to sitting down and painting as like your, you know, we'll say a hardcore painter, a hardcore hobbyist, right? And then I'm more of like a production guy, like, okay, let's get a lot done because I want to play like a lot of games. So, like I said, my experience and my opinions are going to be very different than, um, you know, your average person. And I look at those GW sculpts differently than other people too, right? I think last time I was talking about, um, you know, the reasons why I don't think they're the best sculpts in the market. They're often too busy, so they have all this detail and stuff, which I consider to be in the wrong place. They're too busy. They have all these little knickknacks, right? Your chaos guys are covered in bordering and that kind of thing. But then when you get down to the faces, the face of a particular race is identical all through that singular line. And that to me is just hot garbage, right? You're paying top dollar for those miniatures and they all look the same in the face. Like that should not be okay, right? Like I said, you could pull a random squad of Star Wars Legion, you could pull even like Wrath of Kings and stuff, and you can go, oh, okay, those guys, those members of the squad are actually different beings. Whereas, you know, in a typical GW squad, you could be like, oh, no, that's just the same Sister of Battle posing 5 different times. Here's her with the other weapon. That's how similar the faces are. I'm not talking about the armor, the design. Of course, that's going to be the same, but it's the face. The face and the expression are the same. And it's like, does nobody else want to call that out? Like that, I just don't think that's good. And I don't know. The plastic is super smooth. The dwarf, oh man. It, and I can't say I'm the only person that's called that out, but I think nobody wanted to admit that for a while. Now, if you're talking about a big 120 millimeter, 160 millimeter centerpiece, okay, sure. Nobody else does stuff like that, and that stuff is absolutely incredible. Sure it is. But it's, I don't know. I'm trying to formulate my thoughts here. Sometimes I feel like I think it's like walking around with like your grandma's antique lamp. It's like it has so many fine knickknacks. Like okay, and those temples and shrines are super cool. Don't get me wrong, but that's the kind of piece that's like you're gonna spend a month or two, and you know Jake has done that too on his like centerpiece. He's like spent like, you know, 50, 60 hours on a single piece of that size. That's what those are for. That's like the real masterclass thing, right? But for your average gamer, how many people are doing that? So many people are just going to be so, what's the word, intimidated by that. That's like, I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm just going to run my gray. You know, if they're rich, they're going to be like, let's hire a commission guy. And when you're hiring a commission guy, there's your typical like high-end commission guys. They're not going to do squads for you, right? They're not going to do 40 Skaven for you. That's actually a small unit, but yeah, they're going to paint your big giant centerpiece thing, charge you hundreds of dollars for that, and they're just the production sense is like, who wants to do that, right? You couldn't hire me to do it. I'm not going to do that. Sorry. You saw me do it for my own army here, and I'm like, eh. It's still excruciating and awful. You gotta, alright, good night. Andrew, hope to see you soon, man. We need to do some gaming soon, sir. Alright. Okay, almost done with this very boring part. So after this, I'm only going to need to do this. I'm only going to need to make 40 something more of these. Maybe that's what I'm doing this week, is just making bases. I didn't even buy proper basing stuff this week. What the hell's the matter with me? I better have some decent basing stuff here, or I'm in trouble. Okay, there we go. Let's start here. Just get the rest of this stuff off. Little tool. Yeah, I better have... So we're going to go with like a winter style base. So here's my plan. We're going to spray these all black. We're going to dry brush them gray. We're going to dry brush a little bit of brown in there. And then then I've got some more stuff to put on them. Okay. And I could do, when we get to the more stuff to put on them, before that happens, I'll start gluing the minis in. So we'll do half of this, the priming and the base coating, with the minis out, and then we put the minis in and finish the rest of the process, okay? So I'm going to need some black primer for this. That's not good black primer. The problem is I have lots of bottles of black primer on this table. It's just good. What's the good black primer? Are you the good black primer? Are you the good black primer? I don't know. You might be the good black primer. Alright. But yeah. So I started this army, and I still have a bunch of other projects to work on. I have night models to work on. I still have those Malifaux minis on my desk to work on. I have some Bushido minis I have to do. But I wanted to finish this project first. I want this done and put away. Put away until it's time to call on them. Alright. Hey, what's up, Dicey? Let's see if this is the good black primer. Please be the good black primer. Oh, it's pretty good. Alright. So yes, this is still drying, but it's like cooking show, right? We're just gonna get our layer of black primer on there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got a clog already. I think we got a skin. Something back there. That was fast. That was not the good black primer. Alright. Dicey, I never get to catch your streams anymore. Do you still stream during the day? Dude! That's not good. I must have a skin or something back there. Hold on. That's what I think. I think that might have gotten it. Hopefully that got it. Hopefully that got it. Then we can go on. Nope. Did not get it. But I might have cleared it. There we go. Yay. See how much faster it is when you don't have a clog. Nope. I'll show you guys what the other two units look like while these are drying, because we want to give these a little while to dry. I need that texture to dry. Otherwise we can't dry brush it. But things are looking pretty cool. Yeah, it's been a while, Dicey. I'm like, would want to try to catch one of your streams at some point, or just see what mini games you've been working on, painting and or playing. We've been playing quite a lot of games in our miniature gaming group, and we're painting a lot. You stream at night? Okay. And it's idle PC games. Okay, cool. Alright, so let's let that stuff dry. Let me clear out my airbrush here. Then I'll show you guys what I'll show you what the spearmen and the bowmen look like. But you saw the unusual, so yeah, it's definitely a custom color scheme I'm going with. And it's meant to be pretty striking. The basing is going to be pretty drab by comparison, right? Because I really want these to scream. As they should. They should be totally ostentatious and screaming at you. I may, for bases, I may just do batches of 20. I'll just do, after this is done, I'll just do 2 batches of 20. And that'll take care of the basing, and then then I can move on to other projects. Because like I said, there's a bunch of stuff I wanna get back to. Namely, I want to paint some weird. I want to paint. I got some BMG to paint. I even have Legion stuff that I need to paint. I don't understand. Well, we don't have the details on your next event yet, Jason. So I'll figure out what I'm doing there. I did get the A5 bus yesterday. I don't know if I'm gonna use it, but we'll see. We can also talk a little bit about that Legion tournament yesterday, which was super fun. That I will say, that tournament was more fun than the first tournament for Legion, and because it had everything you wanted, everything I wanted in a tournament. All right. So, but before we do that, well, we have a couple of minutes here while stuff is drying. Let me show you off some of the rest of this army that's very much in progress. Okay, so here is, so for example, here is some of the spearmen, and these are printed spearmen. I'm going to get some transfers for the shield here. I kind of have a surprise going there. But yeah, here's this one. It looks like when they printed, sometimes this little vein there broke. It looks like it broke on that one. Let me show you a different one. And my buddy Bing printed these out for me. And he used this he uses this crystalline resin, which is super strong. It's like really strong. But it's a little, when it does snap, it snaps pretty hard. The good news is, I've had some of this stuff snap, and I can glue it back together, and it looks great. So yeah, so I've got a bunch of these spearmen. Trying to find a squad leader. None of those guys are squad leaders. That's Warcaster. All right. Here's the squad leader, right? So there's a squad leader, and again, they're pretty simple, but I like these way better than the current Venari ones. Like these are really cool looking. So there's those, and then we have. So I got 20 of those, and painting through that was, again, big batches, fairly excruciating. And then these are the archers. So you can see the same color scheme, that weird like blue with orange and some other blue here. I love that this whole army is predominantly female. That's how I like to. I would rather paint female than male miniatures these days. I'll show you a male. They look weird. Here's a male. I wasn't sure they were. In fact, I thought they were all female. So at one point, I think I painted I painted the lips on this dude, and it's like, he's missing the his chest piece is not anyway. So got a bunch of those, right? So 20 of those, 20 of the spearmen. Where's the squad leader? And this was a very secret project, right? Because I was like, my whole deal was like, okay, we're not, because it's questionable, right? It's a conscious choice for me not to cover GW on this channel. We talked about it before, why I don't cover GW. Why, and a lot of that's because I just don't really play GW. Here's the squad leader. Look at that. She got attitude. Look at her. Like, dude, have you seen say the Venari Sentinels? They look goofy. They got like weird pea hats. They just don't look cool, right? She looks cool. She got a bird, right? And these are the archers. I mean, like I said, you don't need all the like weird little pocket watch stuff on there, but they look cool, right? Where's the other squad leader? No. All right. And then for the benefit of Dicey, who wasn't here when we first tuned in, let me show you what I finished, like the Sword Masters, right? And these are awesome. With double Thunder Chicken. And I went with those, like I said, I stole Jake's idea for the blue blades. And they're so cool. Okay. Anyway, so cool. And then, right, like I said, most of this range is female, right? And for my 1,000 points, where'd she go? Is she hiding? Hold on. She's here. Oh, she's buried underneath the Sword Masters. All right. So here's my oh man, you had to step away. So this is they call in AOS, this is the Cathalar, right? If you've seen the AOS sculpt, she's very prudish. This one is the opposite. We'll say she's not shy. She's got some sheer, and this was the cool part, right? Was doing the sheer details on the face through the veil. Yeah, way cool, like so much cooler than the GW equivalent of it, right? Like, what would I know? I would put that on the board. That looks so cool. Anyway, Yeah, sorry, Jason. You missed. Well, you didn't. You just missed the spearman, and the. You missed the. Oh, look, this guy has a broken. See, there was a bunch of them that had this broken vein here, and so the ear's popping out right there. He's the broken one. Poor guy. That's why Bing printed some extra ones. He printed because he knew like a bunch of them broke. That was one of the issues. The resin he runs is so cool, but it's also, like I said, it's so hard that it can snap. So you just have to watch out for stuff like that. Dude, these are gonna look cool. They're gonna look cool. We'll put them on the board. I don't know. Definitely couldn't play those in a tournament, right? Especially with my leader being so like half naked like that. Or mostly naked. People are not, they're not going to be terribly pleased with that. Anyway, let's talk about Star Wars Legion for a minute here. Because Jason hosted the tournament yesterday. It was a skirmish level tournament. Super fun. Like I said, probably my favorite tournament I've participated in a very long time. I played Empire list because there were too many Rebel players in the field. I tend to do that. If there's too many players of one faction that I happen to be playing, I'll swap to the other faction. And I played Emperor Palpatine at 500 points, which is a dumb idea in general. He's way too expensive. He's only got 5 wounds, so you got to watch out. Skirmish has you face-to-face with everybody, so be careful. Right, I've had the Emperor explode in my face super fast, and the rest of, because he's so expensive, the rest of the list is trash, and they just get dunked on, right? There's this faction called Demons and I know, Isaac, but they're, by today's standards, they're a little more on the tame side. They are cool, but anyways, so I was playing Palpatine. First game, I get matched up with a guy named Larry, super nice guy. He has 9 activations and 500 points with Empire, which is crazy, but awesome, including 2 dewbacks. So I was a little intimidated going into that game. But I felt like I was on the verge of tipping him over because I was like slowly taking activations away from him and things were going well. And then I got into combat with his dewback. And the dice math will blow your mind to know that he rolled absolutely perfect on his 6 dice. He rolled absolutely perfect on my 6 red dice with surge to block, meaning it's basically a 3-up save on every single dice. I failed all of them but 1, right? So it would be the equivalent of rolling 5 dice and you roll 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 1, 3. That's really what I rolled. Emperor died in 1 shot, and that game was over. Fun game. I think that the sheer dice odds of that happening are insane. I think we calculated it out. It was like 0.4% chance that happens. But anyways, I thought I had him on the ropes, and then the RNG came into play, kicked me out of that game. Lost the first game. Right, so I lost the first game. Second game, I played a guy named Jeff. Super fun. Emperor got to do his thing. Right, Emperor against General Grievous. I have a partial. One day I will finish painting this Grievous on my desk, but he does look pretty cool so far. He just needs some lightsabers and a little bit of red here and there, and this dude's done. Anyway, got the Emperor in front of General Grievous, a fresh Grievous, and force lightning him to death, almost killing myself in the process, but ended up winning that game by playing that really big decisive moment, right? I had much safer targets to go for and that sort of thing, and I could have just like kind of drudged out a win, but I wanted to do the big cinematic thing, and I got rewarded for it. So poor luck in the first round be damned. Had fun. Second round. Third round was the best game. third round was the best game because Jake and I, we like playing each other all the time, and we tried, we worked our butt off to get the exact same record and a very similar overall score to get matched up in the third round. Jason was having some problems with Longshanks, getting them, and I was like, look, if it doesn't match us up, it can't be right. But we got our matchup. It was super fun. Jake played Yoda, so he played a Yoda-led Republic force. So Yoda, 2 squads of Wookiees, 2 squads of clone troopers. That was it. That was his list. So very similar to my own list. I ran Palpatine, 3 squads of Snows, a squad of Royal Guard, and a Dewback. Right? It came down to literally he had on the final turn he had 4 minis to his name, and I had 4 minis to my name. So he had Yoda and 3 clones, and I had Palpatine and 3 snowtroopers. And I lost a snowtrooper early in that round. His clone troopers tried to secure one objective. Yoda thought he had the other objective. I force pushed Yoda off of that last objective and won by the skin of my teeth. But it was such a good game. It was super close. One of the best games of Legion, well, miniature games. Like, me and Jake, like, dude, that was the best game I think we've played in years and years. And Jake and I have been playing games against each other, like miniature games with each other for over 10 years. And we played each other 1,000 times. Like 900 of those times were Malifaux games, but we played against each other so many times, and that was probably top 5 best games Jake and I have ever played. So the tournament results came in, and I ended up placing 3rd with Emperor Palpatine. Our buddy Chris placed 2nd. He was undefeated on the day. And first was a young guy, I believe his name is Ryan. He's a really young player, but super good at Legion. And so good, congrats and a good win for him. But yeah, what a crazy tournament. It was, like I said, every game I played was good. Every opponent I had was super fun. Jeff and I had like the biggest, we kind of had the biggest laughs just like clowning ourselves for running at each other and trying to shoot and that kind of stuff. So that was super cool. So next up is going to be Marvel Crisis Protocol. I'm hosting a tournament for that. But yeah, the Legion games have been super fun. Jason's going to change it up, the format again for the next one to just continue to keep it interesting. But at the same time, I feel like our meta has some competitive people in it, and then it's got a lot of fun casual people. And I like that, right? You kind of want that. Right? A lot of times, especially like in Marvel Crisis Protocol, when that meta started, we had that mix. We had a good mix. We had hyper-competitive people, and then we had the casual people, right? And what happened, unfortunately, with that is the hyper-competitive people just started to drive away the casual people. Now, I think with some careful curation, we won't get that with Legion. And hopefully we can fix some of the MCP using this same kind of strategy, right? Where we have a very friendly TO, and we make sure, like, guys in our gaming group are there to play, and we're there to have fun. And we have some good players, but we also have some very fun players. That's kind of how it worked with our Guild Ball meta, and I think we can do that with these other games as well. So super, super fun. We're almost dry. Almost. Still a little soft. If I dry brush very softly, if I dry brush casually, maybe I can do this. I think I don't want to use a used dry brush. I think I'm gonna have to use we're gonna have to break out the fine china, guys. We're gonna have to break out the good stuff, right? And I'm talking about breaking open a brand new. I know these are super expensive. You could get these at big lots for $2. And I buy them every time I see them, whether I need them or not. You just have a supply. You just have a supply. Sometimes you want a fresh dry brush, right? And it's nice and soft. It's going to lose a little hair. Going to lose a little hair, but we're good. Yeah, Legion is super fun. Obviously, dicey. Yeah, I really think that game with the right promotion, really, I think that should be your first. That should be in contention for your first miniature war game. Because I think it's a much easier path of entry than 40K. I think it's cheaper. I think it's faster. I think it makes more sense to people that don't play miniature games. And I think the IP is more recognizable. We were just talking about earlier how the painting, the quality of the miniatures, right? They're not as detailed as GW, but that's not a bad thing, right? Yeah, Jason Dicey's over in he's he's over in Europe. He's not gonna. I mean, when he does come to the States, we'll have him come join our tournament. I'm sure he'd want to. For sure, he'd want a game with us because we're dope. Anyway, let's see. Oh, I'm looking for. So I want basalt gray. Actually, I kind of want. Let's get our colors out first. I want this like dark brown, so we'll start with dark brown. God tier is super good. Yes, God tier is also a good mini game. I think Aristea is one of the best miniature games to get started with. Where's my basalt gray? I'll find it one day. Yeah, there's some good ones for sure. But I think if you're talking about when people want to play a miniature war game, right? They want to put tanks and infantry and commanders on the board and blow each other up. I think, right? Everyone thinks Warhammer 40K. I think you could make a very, very, very strong case to start with Legion, especially seeing how Legion is a rapidly growing game, right? It's not like a lot of these other really good miniature game systems. They're super good, but but it's like how do you find people to play? Well, you have to promote the game yourself. He's Norwegian. He's a Viking. He's a ginger. He's a ginger Viking, Jason. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna get some of that chocolate on here. Some of the chocolate. But yeah, the Legion has been super fun of late. I'm super glad that that Nelson made it out. That was super cool to have him show up, and then hopefully next time we can get Jose and Matt to show. But yeah, Legion is doing pretty well. All right, real simple. Real simple. Oh man, yeah, we're still not 100% dry. See, this is a problem with me wanting to rush all the time. I just put that, a lot of times I just let that stuff dry overnight, but like we got a stream to do, right? I'm not gonna, I don't have time to let this stuff dry overnight. We gotta go. We got to go. All right. The land of Magnus Carlsen. Yeah. So it's pretty cool to see like games like Legion and MCP and that sort of thing kind of like proved to be upstarts against the old GW machine, right? But that said, I mean, let's give them some credit. Like Andrew was saying, Kill Team looks pretty good. AOS looks like it can be very fun. Jake is the reason why I'm like doing this project to begin with, because it's like, you know, Jake and I played so many games over the years. It's like, okay, well, Jake wants to play AOS. I know I'm gonna have a good time anyway, which is kind of the point, right? No matter whatever game it is, if you're playing with your friends and you always have a good time with your friends, you're gonna have a good time playing the game. So, you know, all my bitching about crazy batch painting aside, I know at least I'll enjoy gaming with my friends. Alright. So, this part I understand, not very exciting, guys, but we're here to talk. Whatever you feel like talking about. You know, for me, the one game, if I could bring in any game into our meta, it would be BMG. It's just so hard to get it in the store, right? I'm still working on that and trying to keep our group playing BMG at least once in a while, because it's still one of my favorite games. And right, and I'm getting ready for LVO, so, and that's what I'm gonna play at LVO. So, all right, look at that. Just a little dry brush, and we're gonna. There we go. Okay, so get that on there. Oops. This is a kind of mass production. If I could convince. Oh, you're going to LVO? Nice. What are you playing, Isaac? What are you playing at LVO? We should definitely hang for sure. My dad was cool enough to reserve his timeshare for me during LVO, so so I've got a little 2-bedroom. It's basically a condo. You played Malifaux? Oh, you played 40K? Wait, Isaac, did I play against you did you play Malifaux on Friday last year? Or this year, I should say? Did you play in the doubles tournament? Because I did play. This year I did play the doubles tournament for Malifaux on Friday and got trounced, and then I played Batman the other Saturday. All right. You're staying at the Rio. Okay. Cool. Nice. Yeah, I stayed at the Rio this year. But it was cool. Like I said, my dad was like cool enough to get me his little timeshare, which is it's actually next to the Cosmopolitan. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Strip, but it is on the Strip. Oh, you played the Saturday. Okay, cool. Dang, yeah. So I missed you. I was like I said, I played in the Friday event, and I played I played English Ivan and Bing played Mazaki, and we got trounced. I was like bad that day. It was not a good day for me and Malfo. Bing did what he could to keep us in the games, but I was stinking up the joint with my bad flips and bad Malifaux play. It's one of the reasons why you know, I'm a little bummed that the Batman next year is going to be a 2-day event because I wanted to play casual Malifaux again on Friday, try to redeem myself, and then play BMG Saturday. That's cool, man. So you brought Crossroads 7. I painted a Crossroads 7 set and I loved them ever since, but I don't own a Crossroads 7 set. And I really should cuz I play Arcanus and Envy's pretty good. He's nothing to shirk at. Easier to bring that than your Outcast. Cuz Outcast tend to run a lot of models. I don't know who you run for Outcast, but if you're like running Hamlin or something like that, that could be a long day. So you're playing 40K this year? What are you playing? Do you know what army you're going to be running? All right. So far, so boring, right? So far, so boring. Don't worry, guys. We'll make these look a little more interesting. Okay. I think I want to put a little bit of white on these bases. Oh, you run 1,000 Suns. Oh, nice. My friend Kevin runs a 1,000 Suns. He's got a Rubric army. The minis look super cool. All right, here's that. Let's put a little bit of white on there. Lots of Terminators. Okay. Well, hey, smaller model count, easier to travel with. You flying? I'm yeah. I may drive. I'm trying to get some people to come with me. People come with me, it's easier for me to drive. Then I can, I'm not gonna fall asleep by myself and die, or I don't know. It's cool. Just call me All right. Okay. And as you can see, we're starting to get somewhere. But right now, these just look like kind of boring snow wintry bases. We'll make them look weird in a second. This is the part where we get to glue the minis down on them, so that's fun. My little HQ, I would think about putting her on maybe a piece of cork, an extra rock. Are you coming in from Washington? Yeah. That's like a good 4-hour flight, right? If you're flying in from Seattle. I mean, if I don't like her on this, I can always make a new base, pop her on a new base. But let's go ahead and just to see what these are gonna look like, let's move on. Let's move along. And then we get to do the cool thing. All right. I can cover that. Okay. Let's grab our test subject here. Right, so it's this guy on this base. It's going to be like that. He really is going to stand out on that. That's the good news. Let's get him on there. I want to press down to get those, get them nice and firm on there. Ooh, wait, yeah, no, that's perfect. Okay. At least with these, you have these like big cloaks, so that they have a lot of place to attach. This guy's actually a little bit bigger than the base, so he sticks out a little bit. I'm sorry, she. They're all pretty much female. That's cool. You should, if we meet up at LVO, I think Bing will be there and Michael. So we'll have a couple of other people that I regularly game with. We'll see if Jason comes. Gotta talk Jason into playing some LVO or some BMG for a weekend with us. Maybe we get Jason and Nelson to go. That would be cool. How many days are you staying? I'm getting in. My plan is to get in Thursday and then leave either Saturday night or first thing Sunday morning. That's one thing that sucks about residency, that bend. That's weird. Oh man. And I missed him. I missed pretty bad on that glue. I think he's way off the base. I mean, she's centered, but oh, for sure. Have you hopped in my Discord yet? If you hop in the Discord, that's the easiest way. Or you could message me on my Facebook page or my Instagram or wherever. Those are other ways to get a hold of me. All right, and so far so good. They're looking pretty cool. Like I said, the basing looks super boring right now, but we intend to kind of fix that a little bit. Oh, I have a Discord. I mean, I post in it sometimes. We share painting and that kind of stuff on there. Local events. I also have a on-air voice channel, so you could hop into there and we could live chat on air. I usually had a thing where it was like subscribers, only Twitch subscribers had access to that, but if I'm being honest with you, I don't care. I hope my 4 Twitch subscribers don't feel bad. And I'm like, no, you're one perk. We'll see. All right. Okay, so putting these guys on bases automatically makes them cooler, but I mean, right now the bases are very boring. So let's try to spice the bases up a little bit. Whoop! Knocking this camera around. Let me see if I can get you a link to the Discord. If I can post a link. Okay. Let me stick it here in the comments. Okay. There's a Discord invite for you. All right, and so far so good. They are looking pretty cool. 2 more to go. Oh, I just glued the bottom of her and immediately rubbed it across my pinky. Good job. All right. There's that. Okay. Now the last one is for my HQ. 5 red dice. What's up, Nelson? Yeah, we talked a little bit about that. About my horrific die rolling experience in the tournament, but overall still one of my favorite tournaments I've ever played in, just because of all the really cool stuff that happened, including that. All right. I'm gonna be very careful here. I'm just gonna kind of, let's just do that and let's glue that on. Wait. I want this all to be flush. So I'm trying to trim this. I don't want to trim off the entire piece of resin. I just want it to be kind of flush with, there we go. Just trying to make it flush to where the foot is contacting the bottom, so that yeah, it was a lot of fun. That tournament was super fun. Okay. I mean, I hope I never roll that poorly again. I should point out that that is also not the first time I've rolled super poorly with the Emperor on saves. I had a practice game against Brian like a month prior where I was just messing around with skirmish Emperor list, and he managed to get a little line of sight on the Emperor unprotected, and I failed every save but one on that one too. So I should know better. Anyway, let's let her dry, and while she's drying, let me show you the weird. Well, maybe we glue tufts first. Do I have any good tufts to use here? What do I got? I do not have enough of. Oh, these are nice though. These are cool. Maybe I do have enough of these. Those are nice little wintry. I like those. Let's put some of those down. Need some new red dice with my prize. No, I bought the bus with my prize money. All right. I hope CQ has more of these little guys. Where's my tweezers? Isn't Palpatine more of a... He is definitely more of a support piece, but I just think it's hilarious trying to field him in 500 points, so I totally do it. I don't recommend anybody else do it, but it's so fun. It's so... Okay, well, one thing that is that I'll point out that is super cool with the list I was running, right? So again, Palpatine, 3 units of snowtroopers, a unit of Royal Guards, and 1 unit and 1 dewback. Okay? The interesting thing about this list that is low-key pretty awesome is the fact that everybody has built-in free actions. Okay? So for example, all of the snowtroopers have steady, meaning they can shoot as soon as, whenever they complete a move action. Royal Guards have charge, right? So they can melee when they complete a move action. And the dewback has relentless, so it can just perform any attack after it performs a move action. So Palpatine, with his pull the strings ability, is quite nice because you get to do all that cool stuff when you move your stuff, right? So that's the low-key, like, good part of that list, is that you get like that built-in AP efficiency, right? But like I said, still not the best list for 500 points, right? Nelson will say, hey, how about drop 1 squad of the snows, and instead of taking the Royal Guard, upgrade that to a second dewback, and then upgrade your 2 snowtrooper squads. To which I say, that's awesome. It's only 5 activations, but it's good. But yeah, with Palpatine in there, it's still a bit difficult to fit good stuff in that list with him. 2 dewbacks with Palpatine, probably amazing though. Again, because of the relentless rule, because of the spur, like, that's actually pretty good. And you don't really need protection if Palpatine is just going to be hidden by, like, if he's just going to be walking behind this wall of dewbacks. All right. Let's give her... So, see that little white piece down there? I'm going to have to paint that. But I kind of don't like how the feet are attaching anyway, so I'm going to kind of disguise it. I'm going to disguise that whole sort of area and just have her standing next to this kind of larger bush. Whoa. Okay. Now her feet are completely, just about completely hidden there. But yeah, okay. And who am I missing? We got 3 more guys to do. Okay, then we get to do the extra cool little color on here. Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. So any questions, comments, threats? Pretty cool. And all right. And last tough for now. Yeah, I'd better check and see if hopefully CQ has these. Okay. I'm just gonna leave it on my top of my desk. Okay, now let's do the weird part. All right, so I was looking at stuff the other day at CQ, and this Emerald Sphere stuff showed up by AK Wargame Terrain. They'd be a hard target though. The dewbacks having two makes more sense in theory, but more stuff might be better. Well, activations in general are like Star Wars Legion is about activations. So having a lot of activations is super good because you can just out activate the opponent at the end of the turn. You can score your VPs, all that good stuff. So yes, in general, having activations is good. We like to have, I think in general, you want to have at least 6 activations in skirmish, but you know you can still play with 5. You can still make a very good list with 5. 5 activations in skirmish. All right. Anyway, are you doing any painting competitions? No, I'm nowhere near the level to do painting competitions. All right, so as you can see, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some of this Emerald Sphere down. Not much, just a little bit, right? Just to help kind of brighten the landscape a little bit too. And I'll follow it up with a little bit of white, right, for snow. I just want a little bit of that color to kind of remind you, hey, this is a weird thing that they're on, right? I might have gone a little too regular there with the patterning, but you can see where I'm going with that. And then one little white dry brush at the end to kind of cap it all off, keep the winter theme in. But this is almost, this blue-green color almost makes it feel a little supernatural, right? I'm getting a little fantasy element there. And it's not much, it's just this tiny, right? I don't want it to scream. I just want it there. I just want it there. You can already see from like the 3-foot line that it provides a little bit of interest from far away. You're like, oh, what is going on with the basing? Right? And you just do tiny little patches. I did too many big patches on that first one, but you can see how that's looking kind of cool. And we'll add the little white dry brush at the end, and it'll be pretty sweet. Right? So, little AK. You know I'm a big AK fanboy these days, so I like all their cool little effects. And this is a very easy one to do, as you can see. It just gives you enough of that. Right? So they're not just like walking on your typical snowland. Yeah, I am far from the skills of a competitive painter. I'm what you call a just a very productive painter. All right. I don't like that. Did not like how that landed. That's okay. Well, that's so cool. It doesn't take much. Just put a little, and putting a little in the tufts kind of helps too. And then when we hit it with the white will reinforce the winter theme of the base. But we want to leave in a bunch of this emerald stuff. It's going to look especially good on her base because she's got more base showing. She tilted? She's tilting a little bit. And she's leaning a little bit. You're extremely productive. It's true. Right? But it does not make me a competition level painter. Yeah, she's leaning a little bit. I don't know. How badly do I need to fix that? I don't like it. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. I just don't want to do it right now. I want to finish this job first. Okay. 2 more. Yeah. I'm mostly looking forward to seeing what this whole thing looks like together, right? When it's all based and put on the board together. Is this gonna look as cool as I hope it is? Hopefully. Hopefully. It's a cool project. It was excruciating to paint it in the amount of time I painted it in. Right? But at the same time, I was worried if I slowed down, then I would lose motivation. Which is weird, right? That's just kind of how I operate. It's like inertia, right? If I stop moving, then it's bad, right? Because I'm gonna want to stay, just gonna not be motivated to pick up and move again. Okay. So far, so good. Let's go ahead and get the. So we're gonna do a white, very light white dry brush here. Where did my dry brush go? There it is. Yeah, I don't even need it. I'm not even going to use that dry brush. I'm just going to use just a smaller beat up brush for this. Because you don't need to do a whole lot of this. This is, right, this is just for, right, and I'm just using a dry brush paint. Okay, I kind of need a slightly better dry brush than this one, but there you go. See, you can blend it in a little bit, the green, and it just gives you more of like almost like a permafrost type thing. There you go. I like that. Now, if I really wanted to get weird, I could even do like a little bit of like magenta or pink down. But this is plenty weird for me. I don't need to get much weirder than this. Not having the best success with this particular dry brush. There we go. Right. I want some white kind of popping in spots. Any questions, comments, threats? While we're checking out this High Elves of the Eternal Summit, which you know what you can use this for. They look very similar to a range you're familiar with. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, overall pretty happy. Let's see. Hold on. Right. There you go. You're just losing your soul to GW Chaos Marines filigree. Oof. We're building the AOS stuff after Legion games. I thought the models looked great, but I don't know if I get. Yeah, well, yeah. Like I said, Nelson, unfortunately, I will not take commissions for this game. It's just a little too soul crushing, right? You want Lord of the Rings commission? Sure, no problem. Uh, we're still gonna paint in small groups, but you could do that in Lord of the Rings. In this game, it's like, oh, what's a good Daughters of Cain army? Oh, 60 witch elves. And you say, I don't know if I want to do that. That seems excruciating. So, I I don't know. I have no opinion on the game itself right now, but yeah, just looking at it, okay, I put it to you this way. Do you like the game enough to be able to play it in a unpainted or semi-painted state? Me personally, I don't like any game enough to do that. But especially not like a big old war game. I don't think I like any of them. Yeah, right. Real talk. Even if let's say I walk off that table and this is the best game of my life and it's changed everything I thought I knew about GW and blah 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 blah, and I take it all back and I get on stream and I eat a bunch of crow. I was wrong. I love you, GW. Like, let's say all of that happened. Would I then take commissions for this game? If I did that, then literally you're my only customer for like the next year. And I don't know, and this is all we're painting, right? Until it gets done. And I don't know if I can stomach that. That's the conundrum, right? I don't know if I could stomach it. You know, especially if you're like, Octave, Skaven army is really where it's at. I want 120 skinks. Can you paint 120 skinks for me? Right? That's where things get kind of bad. All right. Okay. The basing's pretty good. It's looking pretty good. They tell you how much I love her. I love her. Waifu. I love her. She's great. She's awesome. No one question her. She's she twists the emotions of everyone around her. She'll take your pain and throw it back in your face. Right? It's like having Pandora as your general. Oh dear. Okay. Okay. Your Seraphont commission last year it just about broke me. I didn't finish it. I should. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah. That's scary, dude. Ugh. You were brave for taking that commission. I do not take commissions like that. I've had people asking me to take GW commissions for years and years, and you know, I just politely refuse because it's just too much. And it's not fun painting. It's this stuff, right? This stuff is some of the coolest looking stuff I've seen in a while, but I'll be honest with you, it's not very fun to paint. All right, let's see if I could get her to balance and actually remain level. And she's still very wobbly. I probably should have just pinned her to the base. But I have other ways to deal with this. Just need to hold that in place and let that dry correctly. It was more like 12 dudes. Yeah, if it was 12, yeah. I mean, I don't even do more than like 8 minis during a typical commission. Like that's enough for me. I want to be able to turn around things fast and move on to other projects and keep life interesting, right? So I won't even take commissions um, of like pieces, like that many pieces. The only time recently where I took a commission like that was because I owed Michael an extra life commission. He's like, "Can we just take a commission?" I'm like, "Yeah." And it ended up being like a big batch of like 24 miniatures, and I'm like, "Oh my god, why?" But yeah, we made it through. We're good. Okay, do not. Oh, now she wants to lean backwards. She's she was fine at one moment, and I think I nudged her, and she was not fine again. Hold on, let me see if I can get this to. I just need her to. I just need that piece to skin, and then we're good. No, she's leaning hard the other way. Jeez, lady. You're killing me. The only issue with this sculpt is she's not on her tiptoes, but she's pretty close. Right? See if I can just get that to skin. Still wobbling quite a bit. Come on, you. Still wobbling. Alright. Okay. I think that's pretty level. Pretty level. Let's let that. Let's just leave her alone for a minute. And hope she doesn't lean too hard one way or the other. And let's paint the black lips of the bases, and then we're good to go, man. Then we actually have a squad based. And then I'll have to go back and, but you saw the basing technique itself. This basing strategy is super easy, so. And I need to keep it that way so it's easy to just reproduce over and over again. Right? But for all it's worth, I think it looks pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, hopefully she just doesn't lean too weird. Or I'm gonna have to, I mean, if I have to, I'll just pop her off entirely and then just try to pin her. That's kind of where the big magnet sucks, because that's not that's right where you intend to pin the miniature, right? So okay. Yeah. I have a feeling if she still continues to wobble, I'm gonna have to repair before I hit her with this base paint. Because I would end up having to redo that step anyway. But yeah, that little patch of emerald in the base, I think, is really cool. It just gives it slightly more interest. And you're like, what is actually going on there? All right. Still in a conundrum. I think what I'll do is you'll see this. I'll probably post pics in my Instagram and uh, in the Discord for this army once I can like put it all on the board and take photos of it. Any questions? Any more comments? Thoughts? Threats? All right. All right. And all right. Are you still? You're out. Have a good night. All right. Thanks, man. Thanks for tuning in. We are basically done. She's about to fall off, so I'll repair that. Oh, there she goes. Timber. Wow, she took the bush with her. Wow. Ugh. She took a bunch of the bush with her. Okay. Well, that's cool and all, but it's not flat. Part of that reason is her foot is not actually flat. Okay. So let's see. All right. It doesn't look like I need to adjust much. Let's put our back on. We'll let this dry and then we'll call it. Let's just do what we do. Just hold everything in place for 20 seconds. I'm glad she's all varnished. Okay, pretty good. Okay, that looks like that is gonna stay. That's great. Let's go ahead and do this and then we'll call it. But yeah, okay. That's, you guys are getting a look at what this is gonna look like when it's all together. And I think it's pretty cool. All right. So with that, we are gonna call this. Oh, Sean just popped in. Hey Sean. We gotta talk about if we got if there is a lunch game this week. Schedule is gonna be a little odd. I'll message you as soon as I'm done here. But let's have a look, right? So we'll let her dry a little bit longer, but you could see, right? Here's the sword guys. The sword guys. I think they're looking pretty cool, right? The sword guys are looking pretty cool. And I really like that HQ. And we're going to do more of the HQ. I'll paint a couple more HQ this week or something. Because I want to have 2 other options for HQ. But I think to start, I like her. It's like a perfect even 1,000 points. So with that, we're going to call the stream to a close. Like I said, once things get based and ready to go, I'll have some photos for you guys. But that's going to do it for this stream. I want to thank everyone for watching.